What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today we're doing our review for the first round of the 2018 NFL Draft. This might be a long video, so I might put timestamps in the description below. Go ahead, check the description. It has all the grades, all the names, all the teams, and the timestamps down below, because I know this is going to be a long video. Not everybody's interested in everything I have to say, unless I got some guys that watch completely in the video. For that, I thank you. But let's start off with my mock draft. I have, from my latest mock draft, I only have like 80 views on there, because I understand that completely nobody watched it, because it was literally 5 minutes before the draft when I posted it, and the draft is already going on, so what's the point of watching a mock draft, right? So thank you for the guys that, for the people that did watch it. You know, I couldn't upload it in time. I got home from work really late. I had to record the video, edit the video, render the video, put the video up. And it was, I'm surprised I got it up in that time, really. I'm really surprised I got it up right before 8 o'clock, but I did. But I did go on the, a live stream with Cop Pizzle, along with Rayvon from Virginia, with Meet the Mets and Terrabelli. It was a great time. We all had a blast. I won't be able to join tonight or whenever this gets uploaded, but for the second and third rounds, I have to go do something again, so won't be able to join the second and third rounds. But I mean, that was a great experience, and we got Saquon Barkley, so that's all I gotta say. Anyway, so in this video I'm gonna be discussing what I think about every single pick, starting now. Baker Mayfield, #1 to the Cleveland Browns, and a lot of speculation was going on, a lot of anticipation was going on that Baker Mayfield would be the #1 overall pick right before the draft, and that's when I made my mock draft. I made my mock draft like earlier in that day. And then, you know, when I came home and stuff like that, when I finished it earlier in the day, and then when I came home and stuff like that, I went ahead and recorded it and stuff like that. And, you know, I put Baker Mayfield up first, because I just thought that's just a Browns move, you know. They always, you know, do something that's non-popular, right? Everybody was like, oh, Sam Darnold deserves to be #1, or Josh Allen or whatever. But of course, Cleveland goes in another direction, thinking that they know it all. But Baker Mayfield, in my opinion, let's just take time to congratulate Baker Mayfield. I remember he was going to be in the draft 2 years ago, along with Carson Wentz and Jared Goff. He was talked about going into the draft 2 years ago with Carson Wentz and Jared Goff, and he was projected to be a 3rd to 4th round pick. And, you know, not everybody was paying an eye to him. You know, next year comes along, he raises up a little bit. He was supposed to go in that draft too, the 2017 draft too, but he decided to stay again. And he was projected to be like a 3rd round, 2nd round pick. And now we're going into, you know, the NFL draft. He's projected to be a top 5 pick. I mean, what a grind to the NFL this guy has done. Not only that, he's a walk-on from Texas Tech, then walked on in Oklahoma. This guy literally knows what it's like to start from the bottom, and that's somebody you want in your quarterback. That's somebody you want that's just pure dedication and heart. You guys have to understand that about Baker Mayfield. This guy literally comes from nothing, walking on in Texas Tech, walking on in Oklahoma, and you know, wound up, you know, getting the job there at Oklahoma and Texas Tech. He played at both. And then eventually wound up to be the #1 pick in the NFL draft. You have nowhere to go but up from here. But is it with the wrong team? The Cleveland Browns. Is that the right team for Baker Mayfield to grow? I'm a huge Baker Mayfield fan, and I really want to see him succeed. But I don't know if it's with the Cleveland Browns. You guys know that for quarterbacks, this is the place where dreams die, and careers die here. So I really hope Baker Mayfield turns that around. I really wanted him to go to a place like Denver. That would have been a great place. I really wanted him to go to a place like Arizona. That would have probably been the perfect fit for me. I would have loved him in Arizona. That's such a competitive division. We would have seen a lot of great games. Russell Wilson versus Baker Mayfield twice a year would have been fantastic. But Baker Mayfield is a Brown now. I'm going to grade this a B-. I have all the grades, like I said, in the description below. You guys can follow along. A B- for the Cleveland Browns, just because right now, I know Baker Mayfield is my favorite quarterback, but I think the most NFL ready is between Josh Rosen and Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold has it all together besides the turnovers. I mean, he really has it all together. I like Sam Darnold a lot as well. Not as much as Baker Mayfield, but I just thought Sam Darnold probably would have fit this pick a little better. So I'll give it a B-, but they potentially got their franchise quarterback. Moving on, the New York Giants, they select Saquon Barkley, running back out of Penn State, and this is my guy. This is completely my guy. I'm going to give this an A. The reason why I'm not giving this an A+ is because I don't know if this is the right pick, just being that if we're in win now mode, we better get a team together that we can win now. If not, people are going to be going crazy that we didn't get a quarterback for the future with this pick. So it all depends on what we do with Saquon and how this goes. But right now it's an A. Could be an A+. We'll see what happens. But right now it is an A. The New York Jets, they select Sam Darnold, and I gave this an A+ because it's the best quarterback available right now. I know a lot of people wanted Josh Rosen here, Jets Central. My condolences, my friend, but you know, Sam Darnold, I honestly think Sam Darnold is a better quarterback right now. I don't know in the future who will be the better quarterback. You know, I'll have to watch a lot more of their film. I didn't watch too much, like, you know, gouge my eyes out type film watching, but I did watch a considerable amount of film, and I do like Sam Darnold more than Josh Rosen. So I think Sam Darnold better fits with you guys for the Jets. I think he'll win you more games. So congratulations there. I gave you guys an A+ on that. You guys traded up in the draft for a reason, and you definitely fulfilled that. You got yourself a franchise quarterback in Sam Darnold. No more Christian Hackenberg. No more Bryce Petty. We move on. Now this was very questionable with a lot of people, and I completely understand why the Browns did it. Now, the Browns did select Denzel Ward, cornerback out of Ohio State. Now, a lot of people were like, wow, Denzel Ward all the way to number 4, la 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 la. Think about it. If the Browns were really, really high on Denzel Ward, like they got, you know, especially that he's a local guy, he's from Ohio State, of course you're going to have scouts and a lot of media people looking at him, and, you know, the front office is going to be looking at him too. If you fall in love with a guy and he's projected to go not much farther down than 4. I mean, I think the earliest he probably would have been taken, you know, you could argue that the Colts could have taken him, taken a cornerback here. You could argue Tampa Bay would have taken a cornerback, and Denzel Ward would have been the guy. Chicago could have taken a cornerback. San Francisco, 4 teams consecutively could take Denzel Ward. So what do? You can't trade down. Who are you going to trade down with? Denver, they're 1 pick down. You're not going to pull a Mitch Trubisky pick on us. So, you know, the Cleveland Browns had to get Denzel Ward if they really liked him. Now, could have they gone with Minkah Fitzpatrick? Yes, but I felt that they needed a cornerback more than they needed a safety. Minkah Fitzpatrick wants to be a safety. I know he's your Tyrann Mathieu player, but I just think you need that one guy, that cornerback. You know, that number 1 cornerback, you need him. Minkah Fitzpatrick is more of a safety. A lot of people just say he's more of an athlete on that field. Denzel is the cornerback. He's the number 1 cornerback in this draft. I think it was a good pick by Cleveland. So I gave it a B, and we'll move on. Denver selecting Bradley Chubb, just completely overpowering that defense as far as pass rush goes for the Denver Broncos, as now they add Bradley Chubb to the mix with Von Miller and Shaq Barrett. I don't know how the Shaq Barrett rotation is going to go around, because that linebacker spot belongs to Shaq Barrett, and Bradley Chubb is a linebacker, not a 3-4 defensive end. So he's going to take Shaq Barrett's spot. I guess they're going to rotate, see who will be the starter. I assume it's Bradley Chubb. There'll be some smoke around that at Shaq Barrett, but it is what it is. I know that Bradley Chubb will start. But to me, I felt like the bigger need here was Quenton Nelson. Quenton Nelson, to me, is a better player in his position. Bradley Chubb is great, don't get me wrong, and I think he'll win you games other than a guard. A guard is not going to win you games, really, but I just think it's more essential. You got Case Keenum. You know Case Keenum is accident-prone. You know he's very injury-prone, right? And on top of that, you're going to be getting your next quarterback in the next couple years. You need to solidify that offensive line before your quarterback of the future comes, and it'll be like, you know, he'll just fit right in with the offense. I just think that the better pick here was Quenton Nelson. I know Bradley Chubb was a sexy pick, and that's why they did it. You know, they want to add somebody for Von Miller. And Von Miller, I think he's getting up there in age. I think he's 29 or 30. He's not that old, but I know they'll probably want a dual threat for Von Miller. They don't want him doing it all, of course. And Shaq Barrett's not a bad option either, but Bradley Chubb, I mean, come on, it's Bradley Chubb, right? So, I've got Bradley Chubb, a C+. I know it's a sexy pick, but I just felt Quenton Nelson was definitely the screaming need there. And yeah, I gave that one a C+. The Indianapolis Colts, they select Quenton Nelson, guard, out of Notre Dame. This was a fantastic pick. Denver missed out Denver missed out on Quenton Nelson, and Indianapolis picks him up one pick later. I got that pick right. By the way, I got six picks right in this draft, all of them within the top 10. So, like I said in my mock draft before, I'm not confident about the back half of the draft, and obviously that came to fruition because I got no picks right in the back half of the draft. I gave the pick for Quenton Nelson a B+. They always need offensive line help every single year. They drafted Ryan Kelly, I believe 1 or 2 years ago. They drafted Ryan Kelly 2 years ago, right? And they're solidifying that offensive line. Andrew Luck, hopefully he'll come back. But whoever it is that's going to be playing quarterback, you need an offensive line, of course. And you need all the help you can get in running the ball. So, moving on. And this would be a really, really good pick. I may even bump this up to an A if they get Darius Geis in the second round, because you're just getting an offensive lineman and a running back. That's helping out your situation of a dual threat offense completely right there. So instead of one-dimensional like they've been for quite a while now in the Indianapolis Colts. So moving on, I'm trying to find out where to put this paper at so I don't have to keep staring at it. Moving on, we got the Buffalo Bills. I predicted this trade in my second mock draft. I predicted this trade. Tampa Bay with the Buffalo Bills. Okay. And so here's the trade. I have all the trade news and all the trade stuff is in the description as well. The Bills acquired the 7th overall pick, while the Bucks acquired the 53rd overall pick this year and a 2nd round pick next year. I thought it was a 7th. I don't know. I thought it was just something different, but a 2019 pick next year and the 53rd pick this year. So, and with that, the Buffalo Bills obviously draft Josh Allen. I got that one right as well. I mean, this was obvious right now. I think the Buffalo Bills were in love with Josh Allen. The problem is I gave this a B- because who's the better quarterback on the board right now? It's Josh Rosen. You should select Josh Rosen. Josh Allen is a project. He needs mentors. He needs some veteran help. A.J. McCarron is probably the best guy there as far as a player goes. You know, you got... I just don't know how it's gonna work out. I don't. But hopefully he does progress and he, winds up being the franchise quarterback for the Bills. But I just don't see it with Josh Allen. He needs to have a better team around him. But I did project him going to the Bills anyway. But like I said, I wouldn't. If I was the Bills, I would have gotten Josh Rosen. So we move on. I give that a B-. We move on to Chicago Bears. They select Roquan Smith, inside linebacker, out of Georgia. I gave this an A because I gave this A, but it's still a fantastic pick, just not in the A+ range, but fantastic pick. To me, best player on the board right now that fits a need. I know you can get Minkah Fitzpatrick, but you already got some good safeties there in Eddie Jackson and your other safety, who's your Adrian Amos. So you got some good safeties there, and you need corners right now, but I don't think another corner is going to go out in the first round here in the top 10. So we have Roquan Smith to the Chicago Bears. I give that an A. The San Francisco 49ers getting Mike McGlinchey, offensive tackle out of Notre Dame. Now, everybody was completely blown away by this pick because they need some defensive help. They need pass rush. They need linebackers. They need cornerback help. They need safeties. I mean, they do need all those things for the defense. A lot of people were projecting them to get a wide receiver in this draft. So did I. But they get themselves an offensive tackle. Initially, I would have ranked this like a B, B-, because you are helping yourself out for the future. Joe Staley's getting older, and you need somebody else there to mentor up and eventually be your franchise left tackle. But I bumped this up to an A- because of the fact that the New England Patriots and the San Francisco 49ers again trade with each other in exchange for Trent Brown, offensive tackle for the 49ers. And so basically what the 49ers did was completely upgrade their position at right tackle They traded away Trent Brown, and they brought in Mike McGlinchey, a younger, better prospect in there, and you just fit him right in there, plug him right in like a puzzle piece. And that's why I put it, I gave it an A-, because I guess they were already shopping Trent Brown. They knew what they were doing there, and they just upgraded in their position. And I think that's a fantastic move there by the San Francisco 49ers. Moving on to the number 10 spot, Arizona trades with the Oakland Raiders. I projected Arizona to trade. I just projected them to trade with the San Francisco 49ers. I don't know why. They're division rivals. That was stupid of me. I should have had them trading with the Oakland Raiders. But the Arizona Cardinals have the 10th overall pick, while the Oakland Raiders acquire the 15th, the 74th, and the which is a 3rd round pick, and the 152nd pick, which is a 5th round pick, I believe so. I'm just guessing on these guys, but which is the 5th round pick, I hope. So good trade there to get your franchise quarterback in Josh Rosen, obviously the best quarterback on the board. Lamar Jackson, Mason Rudolph aren't the guys there. Josh Rosen is the answer. I'm happy you didn't pull a New Orleans Saints and trade all the way up and give up another 1st round pick for a defensive player, but we'll get into that when we get into that. But Josh Rosen, I gave that an A+. Obviously, it's the only pick to make, so you can't go wrong there with Josh Rosen. He's the only quarterback worth going in the top 10. So that's 4 quarterbacks gone in the top 10, so making history there. First time since 1999, I believe. First time ever, I believe, 4 quarterbacks in the top 10, but I think first time since 1999 that 5 quarterbacks go in the 1st round. So moving on, we have Minkah Fitzpatrick at the number 11 spot going to the Miami Dolphins. I gave this a B+ because I think Tremaine Edmunds would have been a good pick here. I think that would have been an A-type pick. Tremaine Edmunds fell all the way down. Don't know why, but they definitely need linebacker help, and I thought he would have been a good fit there, being that Miami does run a hybrid 3-4-4-3, and Tremaine Edmunds is such an athlete. He can play basically anything on that linebacker position, whether it be a 3-4 weak, 4-3 weak, 3-4 middle, and just he could play a bunch of stuff. He could play edge rusher, whatever it is. I just thought he would have been a more versatile player for the Miami Dolphins, but I give this pick a B+ for Minkah Fitzpatrick. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I had them, they selected Vita Vea, defensive tackle out of Washington. I gave this an A. You completely changed around that defensive line. You helped out Gerald McCoy. He's very happy about that. He tweeted out that he was very happy about the Vita Vea pick. And then you got JPP and Vinny Curry also there. I mean, that's a great D-line. That went from one of the worst to one of the best D-lines in the league. They need to help with their linebacking core, but great pickup for the Vita Vea. I didn't expect that to happen because they need secondary help, but Derwin James, a local kid out of FSU, was an option there. But Vita Vea is definitely a good pick, definitely worth that number 12 spot. So congrats to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I gave that an A. Moving on to Washington, they wanted Vita Vea. It was obvious. They pulled the New York Giants when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers selected. Basically, Tampa Bay did it to 2 teams, because they did it to the Giants 2 years ago when they selected Vernon Hargreaves, and the Giants panicked and they got Eli Apple, another cornerback who wasn't as good, and the Buccaneers do it again to the Washington Redskins this time, and they panic and select Daron Payne, defensive tackle out of Alabama. Rayvon from Virginia was talking about this, that Washington really loves Alabama guys, which is true, because they got that linebacker out of Alabama last year, and then they got Jonathan Allen, a defensive end last year. So you're just making, it's just like the Washington Crimson Tide, which is kind of ironic because they wear burgundies, which is pretty close to crimson. So with that being said, I did give this a C, because you already, you drafted a 3-4, you drafted a 3 technique guy last year in Jonathan Allen. You're gonna draft another 3 technique guy in Daron Payne. He's not a nose tackle in any way, shape, or form. He's just not. I just don't think he's that big enough. He's like 311 pounds or something like that. I think you need like a 340 pounder to be a nose tackle in the NFL. Vita Vea is that guy, yes, but you don't. Daron Payne is another 3 technique guy that I just don't think you know, you got Jonathan Allen there already. I don't know why you're gonna double dip there. You could have went with secondary. You need secondary help. You could have waited for a Maurice Hurst to drop in the second round, or Taven Bryan if he did drop, which he didn't, but still, a BJ Hill. No, BJ Hill is not a nose tackle, but you know, anybody, another nose tackle, but I don't know, man. I don't know, and I don't even think Taven Bryan's a nose tackle anyway. But anyway, you could have drafted secondary help anyway for the Washington Redskins. So C for the Redskins. New Orleans. Now this is weird. This is just weird, man. I mean, from 27 to 14. I mean, let's go over the trade, the trade stuff right now. Oh, I didn't even write it down. I'm an idiot. But I'll put the trade. It's in the description, guys. So I don't remember what the trade was, but they traded another first-round pick. So they traded. They switched with Green Bay, and then they traded next year's first-round pick. And I'm like, in the live stream, I'm like, okay, this got to be Lamar Jackson. It has to be. You're not gonna trade away all that. It's like what Kansas City did last year when they traded from, I think, 27 or 26, and they came up to about 10 or 12 or something like that. I think they went to 10, and they got Pat Mahomes. It's very similar to that. I'm like, okay, they're going to get Lamar Jackson, the quarterback of the future. A lot of people was mocking this, that Lamar Jackson would fall to New Orleans, but I didn't think they would trade for him. But then they select Marcus Davenport. I mean, this is a small school defensive end. Like I told you guys before, I'm very high on Marcus Davenport, yes, but he comes from a small school. He's a little raw. He still needs some work. They must have been really sold on this guy that they had to give up basically 2 first round. They spent 2 first round picks on him. They have to be really high on this guy. I mean, I think a team would do that for Bradley Chubb. I don't know if they would do that for Marcus Davenport. Very questionable pick in my opinion. I guess they were desperate for some pass rush, desperate to give Cameron Jordan somebody else. But they got Sheldon Rankins there, who is a pass rushing defensive tackle. I mean, unless you think he's not getting it done enough. But I don't know, man. We'll see what happens. But I did not give this a good grade. I gave this a C-. I just think, you know, oh man, you traded way too much. You went up too far to get Marcus Davenport. But I mean, he still should show up. He still should be an instant starter for you guys. I just don't know how much he was worth it. You know, to have a first-round pick next year just to be taken away for one guy, and he's not even the best defensive tackle on the defensive end in the draft. I mean, I just don't see it. I don't see it. So we move on to the Oakland Raiders. When they traded back, they're now at 15. The Oakland Raiders select Kolton Miller, tackle, out of UCLA. I like this pick, but they could have went somewhere. They need defense. I mean, their defense is so bad. It's really bad. So I gave this a C+. It's just not good enough. I mean, they could have got Tremaine Edmunds. They could have got somebody else, secondary guy. Get yourself another cornerback. Your cornerbacks are very thin. Kolton Miller should not have gone in the top 15. He's not that good. He's a combine star. That's the only reason why he's in the first round. So this was just, all in all, just not a very good pick. I could see where you're going with this. Donald Penn is getting older. I think Marshall Newhouse you have at right tackle. Your tackles are not looking good right now. But I just don't think it was the right time. Not the right time to get Kolton Miller. So I gave this a C+. Moving on to Buffalo again. They trade with the Baltimore Ravens. If I have this up here. Do I not have this pick either? Okay. Like I said, all of it in the description. Tremaine Edmunds. They select Tremaine Edmunds, linebacker, out of Virginia Tech. I think this was a great pick. Gave it a B+. You know, they need linebacker help. A lot of people were projecting them to get a linebacker like Leighton, Vander, Esch, but nobody thought Tremaine Edmunds would fall this far. So you take that guy that should have been in the top 15. So you know, you got him there. And Tremaine Edmunds. The Los Angeles Chargers, they took best player available at this point. Derwin James also fits a need. I had them taking Malik Hooker last year, but they did not do that. But they did get this guy, what's his name? Desmond King last year. He's another safety, but you add Derwin James with that. I think it's Derwin James. Should not have dropped to 17, but you know, great pick for the Chargers. They get themselves a really good safety, hard-hitting safety. And what did I grade this? I graded this an A, so great job for the Chargers. The Green Bay Packers, when they fell all the way down to 18 from that trade with the New Orleans Saints, they grabbed themselves Jaire Alexander, cornerback, out of Louisville. I applaud this pick. This is a great pick. They need secondary, guys. And this is actually a pick that I agree with when it comes to the Green Bay Packers when they're drafting the secondary. Besides Clinton Dix, you're drafting guys, let's keep this in mind. Demarius Randall was the first safety taken in the 2015 draft over Landon Collins. Just put that in your mind. Demarius Randall, who turned into a cornerback and is not very good. So, this is the first time that Green Bay is actually picking a cornerback that's actually good. Kevin King last year is a project. So you're going to get a guy that's a ball hawk. You're going to get a guy that's annoying in the pass coverage game. I mean, he annoys wide receivers. So great pick there for the Green Bay Packers, selecting Jaire Alexander. I gave that an A. So we move on to Dallas. They select Leighton Vander Esch, combine star out of Boise State, linebacker out of Boise State. Gave it a C+. I know they need linebacker help, but they definitely needed secondary and interior defensive lineman help. So I don't think this was a great pick. I don't think it was the best pick for Dallas. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was laughing at this pick. I mean, they could have gotten Cortland Sutton, who did fall into the second round. Could have gotten Calvin Ridley. I would have been scared of those guys. DJ Moore, I would have been terrified. But they got Leighton Vander Esch. I mean, this is a guy that was a combine star. This is a guy that doesn't really put up highlight film. He's just a really good athlete at the linebacker position. A lot of teams fall in love with that. Dallas obviously fell into the trap there. Dallas loves Boise State guys, which is weird because I love Boise State. The Boise State Broncos is my favorite college team, and they go to a team that I hate a lot. So, the Leighton Vander Esch, we'll see what happens with him, but I just don't think it was a good pick. I gave that pick a C+. We move on to Detroit, drafting Frank Ragnow, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't know who the hell this guy was. I don't watch college football all that much, and I didn't know who the hell this guy was. But I looked into him. He was like the best center in the NFL, in college, and I don't know why he wasn't projected to be better than James Daniels, who's another fellow center, along with Billy Price. So I don't know why he wasn't getting as much attention before the combine and stuff like that at the draft. But he's allowed three pressures in the total of his whole career, so he's never even allowed a sack. So I mean, great job by the Detroit Lions just sneaking up and grabbing him. Help that offensive line. You need help in that running game, and you need help to protect your huge, your largely paid Matt Stafford, your franchise quarterback. So great pick there for Detroit. It's not the sexy pick. It's not the pick everybody wanted, like Darius Geis or Ronald Jones or Sony Michel. It's the pick that was needed. So Frank Ragnow to the Detroit Lions. I gave that a B-. We move on. Matter of fact, I'll bump that up to a B+, just because the pick is really growing on me. So Cincinnati, they select Billy Price. I thought they would get Will Hernandez, but that's better for us. So they select Billy Price, offensive center / guard out of Ohio State. Gave that an A. Not really much to say there. They filled themselves a need, and they couldn't gotten Will Hernandez or Isaiah Wynn, but they decided not to. So it is what it is. Moving on to Tennessee Titans, they come up in this draft, and who do they select? They select Rashaan Evans, inside linebacker out of Alabama, but I'm trying to find the trade. If I put the trade in here, I did finally. Okay, so they got the 22nd overall pick, and they traded that to the Baltimore. They got that from the Baltimore Ravens, who acquired the 25th overall pick, which is Tennessee's old pick, and the 125th pick in the 4th round. That's a 4th round pick, and the Tennessee Titans also acquired the 215th pick, which is a 7th round pick. So they just trading picks. Both. I gave that pick an A. So a great job by the Tennessee Titans. They couldn't have gotten Harold Landry, but I guess a lot of teams, there are always stuff that the fans and the media doesn't know. So the teams are always communicating with each other. They know more than we do. So obviously, if Harold Landry was not taken by the Tennessee Titans and they were not taken by anybody else in the 1st round, something's up. Something's up that they don't like. So they went with the best other linebacker available, and that's Rashaan Evans. So great job by the Tennessee Titans. There is going to be your next middle linebacker coming up in the 3-4. Great fit there for Rashaan Evans. Moving on, we have the New England Patriots selecting Isaiah Wynn, tackle / guard out of Georgia. Great pick there. I mean, you need to replace that offensive line. You need to start building that offensive line for Tom Brady and whoever is going to be your next quarterback in however many of years, of course. But I really like Isaiah Wynn, one of my favorite guys, one of my favorite interior guys in the draft. So a great pick by the New England Patriots. I gave that an A. The Carolina Panthers, they select DJ Moore, wide receiver out of Maryland. First wide receiver off the board. Very, very surprising. This combine star was not projected to go in the first round, but the second round before the combine. You got your guys like Calvin Ridley, Cortland Sutton, and I believe somebody else. I can't remember off the top of my head was supposed to go in the first round, but as the time went on, DJ Moore is now a Carolina Panther, first wide receiver taken off the board, and I gave that an A because that guy's a complete monster, and the value is there at 24. The Baltimore Ravens, they select with the Tennessee Titans spot, they select Hayden Hurst, tight end out of South Carolina. I gave this a very surprising A+. A lot of people were like, oh man, go pass rusher, go wide receiver, go running back, go offensive line. I had them taking an offensive lineman, but like I said, there's always stuff that we don't know about. You know, Connor Williams, again, was not taken in the first round, so there's something that we don't know about. Maybe, I think he had a knee problem. You know, and then wide receiver, you got Calvin Ridley, you could get him, but you got John Brown, you got Willie Snead, you got a couple other guys there, so first round is really not needed. In this, you know, first round selection for a wide receiver is not really needed, but you do need a tight end because, you know, you got Dennis Pitta, you got Crockett Gilmore, who's now a tackle, which is weird, and Dennis Pitta cannot stay healthy for his life, and you don't really have anybody at the tight end position. Hayden Hurst is a very athletic, pass-catching tight end. Go ahead and bring him into your offense, help Joe Flacco out a little bit, and hopefully he could be your tight end when Lamar Jackson takes over. So moving on, like I said, get that an A+, fantastic pick, especially how the way that they kept trading back. They kept trading back, and then they traded to 27. I don't know, where did they trade? They traded back, and then they traded back up, I believe. I can't remember, or was that another team? But yeah, we move on to the Atlanta Falcons. They select, oh no, they didn't trade back. They traded, yeah, the Baltimore Ravens stayed at 25. So the Atlanta Falcons, they select Calvin Ridley, wide receiver out of Alabama. I gave this an A. This is a great pick. You know, Julio Jones is the #1 guy. You know that. Calvin Ridley can be a perfect #2 wide receiver. I mean, a perfect wide receiver. Not even that. Mohamed Sanu is still there. Justin Hardy guy, he's all right. But you know, Taylor Gabriel, I believe, went to the Browns, if I'm not mistaken. He used to be with. I think he went to somewhere else. I don't remember. But you know, Calvin Ridley, just a great pick there. I mean, the value is there, of course. You know, you could go a guy like Taven Bryan, but you know, you want a playmaker there. Make that offense even better. And Calvin Ridley is the guy. Moving on. This is the worst pick of the first round, and I say it again. I'm going to keep saying it. I don't care what happens with Rashad Penny, if he's the best running back in the league or whatever, but he's not going to be. Rashad Penny, poor man Saquon Barkley. I get that he's a great running back, but second round selection, come on. And he's not even the best running back on the board by far. The Seattle Seahawks, they trade down, and they select Rashad Penny, running back, out of San Diego State. This is weird. This is weird. Think Darius Geis, okay? Think Ronald Jones. Think Sony Michel. Think Nick Chubb. There are plenty other running backs in this draft better than Rashad Penny. I don't know about Nick Chubb. Maybe Rashad Penny is better than Nick Chubb. But there are like 3 running backs who are better than Rashad Penny. And you reach all the way in the first round to grab this guy. I don't understand it whatsoever. You need cornerback help. Bad. Richard Sherman, Jeremy Lane, another clown. I don't know. Byron Maxwell, you just signed again. They just signed Byron Maxwell again. But still, I mean, your cornerback core is not good. Your defense is not good. No more Legion of Boom. Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor, Bobby Wagner is your trinity there at players. Cliff Averill, okay, he's all right. You know, you got Frank Clark, I believe that's his name. The guy out of UCLA that they drafted a couple years back. I mean, they're not that good. I mean, that defense is not good. And being that you have a reputation, a recent reputation for that defense, you have to focus on defense. Or if you don't do that, get yourself an offensive line. You have a makeshift offensive line there at Seattle. You can't let Russell Wilson do it all. This is a terrible pick. I gave this a D. I will not give something an F like I did last year. It's just not fair. I mean, these guys are still really good players. So I'm gonna give them a D, and that's just pushing it. But I mean, it's not a good pick, guys. It's just not a good pick. We move on to Terrell Edmunds. This is another not good pick for me. I think they reached highly for this player. If you really wanted to, you can get a guy like Justin Reed out of Stanford at safety. You know, you can go another cornerback here. Who else can you go, really? I think that's pretty much it. I mean, you gotta focus on defense, of course. But I just don't think Terrell Edmunds was the guy. I mean, did anybody think Terrell Edmunds was going in the first round? Absolutely not. So I don't know. I just think it wasn't a good pick here. So C- I give that. With the 29th selection, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Taven Bryan, defensive tackle out of Florida. Great pick here. You know, they're making their defense even better. That rotation is so damn scary. And for a team that does not have holes on their roster, they could go tight end here, but I guess they didn't want to reach for one. So they just got what went best player available that fits a need. And Taven Bryan is that guy. Fantastic pick by the Jacksonville Jaguars. I give that selection a B. Minnesota, I had them selected. I keep saying I have them selecting because of the mock draft. They selected Mike Hughes, cornerback out of UCF. This guy should not have fallen this far. I mean, this guy, everybody's sleeping on him. Don't know why. This guy is really good, really good. And to replace your old man in, I forgot his name, Terrence Newman, who's like 38 years old, and you need somebody for Xavier Rhodes, give Xavier Rhodes somebody else. Mackenzie Alexander, okay. Trey Waynes, okay. Those are two guys that you guys kind of whiffed on a little bit. Trey Waynes was like a high first-round pick. Didn't really pan out to be a first-round pick. He's all right. He's not a first-round pick. Mackenzie Alexander, you drafted in the second round 2 years ago. He's not that good. You throw him out in a nickel. Trey Waynes in a nickel. Whoever you want to throw out there. Mike Hughes is definitely going to be a really good cornerback. I gave that an A+ for the value, of course. New England Patriots, they select Sony Michel, running back out of Georgia. Gave this a B- because they do need cornerback help. Like I said, there's no corners really here to draft at this high. You could get Josh Jackson, of course. I think, and matter of fact, yeah, there is a corner, Josh Jackson. So, you know, you could have gotten him, but you went with Sony Michel. Sony Michel has some bone-to-bone problems in his knee. His career is going to be too long. You could have gotten somebody else like a Darius Geis to be safe with that pick. I think he's the second best running back in this draft. So to think that Sony Michel was drafted ahead of him is kind of, I don't know, questionable. So I gave that a B-, but you do fill in a need. But, I mean, Jeremy Hill is there at New England right now, and New England just loves stacking themselves with running backs. It's so weird, but it works, I guess. I don't know. With the Baltimore Ravens, they trade with the Philadelphia Eagles. All the trade stuff is down below, like I said. Baltimore, Lamar Jackson looked like he was on his way out the AT&T Stadium before his name was called, and he was extremely sad. His mom looked really sad too. I kind of felt bad a little bit, but he was finally selected in the first round. This is like what happened with Teddy Bridgewater, right? Teddy Bridgewater, a lot of people were saying he's the best quarterback in that draft in 2014, and he just kept going down. You got guys like Blake Bortles getting selected, Johnny Manziel. Who else was selected? A couple other guys. I think it was one other guy. I can't remember. Anyway, yeah, just like in the 2014 draft, you know, the Vikings come up in this with the 32nd overall pick, and they select Teddy Bridgewater at the last pick of the first round. So same thing with Lamar Jackson here. He's going to be the future quarterback for Baltimore. Hopefully he's going to battle with RG3 for the backup quarterback spot, but I think Lamar Jackson will get that third string spot, barring an injury from Robert Griffin III. So I'm tripping over my words already. I can't speak for that long, guys. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you guys like my draft grades and stuff like that? How do you guys like how the first round turned out? Second round starts today. Second and third round. Woo, it's going to be a great draft, guys. It's going to be a great draft. So, yeah, I'll come back with my full draft analysis when the draft is over and done with. But hope you guys like the video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.